Sometimes, what we see in the present overshadows what God has done in the past. But you see, God's love is unfailing, doesn't fail. Remember when my mom became deathly ill and she was so sick, we had to bring her to Rochester in Minnesota at the Mayo Clinic because she had cancer, but they couldn't detect her cancer here. And so we brought her there, and when you lose somebody that's very close to you, I grew up in a single parent home, and she was my only parent that I had. And so losing somebody like that was a tough one. And so the doctors came, talked to my sister and I, and said, Paolo, Princess, your mom's going to die. And they are just, they full on tell you the truth. They don't skirt and they don't go around the bush. And they say, we wish we're wrong, but she's going downhill. She's going to die. And at that point, it was just, I remember I had to sit down on the couch after the doctors left. And I said, Lord, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go from here. Where do I go? And it's like the current circumstance was beginning to overshadow the faithfulness of God in the past. And that's so normal for you and for me. Some of you may be going through that today. It's like the things that you go through today now begins to cloud out the faithfulness of God in the past. I remember another story. It must be a modern day parable of a young boy with his mom. And this young boy would go to the PTC, the parent-teacher conference with mom. But whenever he would go, he would often stay outside the classroom. And while mom was inside the classroom with the teacher talking, he would be outside. This would happen every quarter of the year. And so the reason was he was embarrassed about how his mom looked, because his mom, part of her face had a scar, a huge scar on the right side of her face. And so somehow, because, people in school can be sometimes tough and rude and bullies are there, he didn't want to be associated with somebody who looked like that. And so every single time, whether that would be in the mall or whether it be in the school, he would be outside, mom would be there, until one afternoon when mom was speaking to the teacher. And the teacher had the guts to ask the question, ma'am, if you don't mind, could I ask what happened to that one part of your face and why there's a huge scar? And she said, you know what happened? When my son was a baby, our house caught on fire. And I had to run straight to the baby room and wanted to make sure that he was all right. And so while going to the crib and picking him up, I saw like a big plank of wood fall, and it was about to hit him. And then as I covered him, and the plank of wood, which was on fire, hit my face, and that's why it burned part of my face. And so now, her son was listening and overheard this story, realized what actually had happened in the past, and runs to mom and says, Mom, I didn't even realize that's what happened. I'm really, really sorry. Please forgive me. Guess what? Since that day, he holds his mommy's hands, walks with pride, walks with confidence. This is my mom. She loved me. She saved me. She rescued me. I'm proud to be her son. See, when you think about sometimes what we experience in the present and we don't realize what has been done in the past, that shadows or overshadows and clouds out what happens, what God has done in the past. Unfailing love.